Hi, everyone. We don't have a lot of people here today. So now I'm wondering if this was maybe a bad idea. Just waiting for all my stuff to populate here. Hi, Erin. Good morning, Courtney. Hi, Christine. Hi, Detective. Lunar Magic Tea Time. You guys come up with some great names. Hey, Cat Lady. Christine, you just got the alert? I don't know how to make it come earlier. Good morning, Toe Beans. Hey, Toe Beans, I hear or I saw you comment, I think it was you, that you're going to go to the Courtney Clenney trial if you can. Is that correct? Do I have the right person? Hi, Froky. Nancy says, I've missed everyone. It's been so long. Haha. Hi, Ms. LT. Oh, yes. Courtney says, give them time. Maybe they'll show up. Yeah, I am a bit early. Yes, it was you, Toe Beans. Okay, well, maybe we'll talk for a few minutes and then I'll do the introduction and everything. I have to think about the rewatch crew as well. I think if you're on rewatch, you don't necessarily want to hear the creator saying hi to everybody. Courtney, kind of fascinated by this case. C. Perk says, I'm still reeling from Boone. Somebody else said in the regular comments, I don't know if I want to get into something new. I'm still celebrating Boone's conviction. Yeah, we all are. And yeah, go ahead and celebrate. The thing is, though, for everybody in the system, there's no break. Crimes just keep happening. I was thinking about the prosecutors in the Boone case, and I had said, gee, they need to go out and have their favorite meal. But you know what? They had to come to work as usual because there's always something else. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ellie. Frauke says, some will have to do all the stuff they let collect dust while watching Boone. Yeah, I get that. There are a lot of things that I ought to be doing, but I found I was procrastinating. I think I was tired. And I thought, well, if I'm procrastinating, I might as well come back here and talk to you guys. Detective says Sarah's case affected me a lot. I didn't expect it to. Yeah. I think I think that's true of a lot of people. Because she was so ridiculous that she was funny, I think when it came time for the serious side that people don't really talk about that subject, when that comes out and hits you in the face, it's kind of like it rips a piece away from you. And there are no jokes in those moments. Tobin says Mr. J conducted Jen Soto's derivative immunity interview. Interesting. Hi, Emily. Yes, you made it. Hi, Bender. I'm seeing a name. Eibelsiger. Oh man, I mangled that, I'm sure. It says post Boone Blues. J. Marie says I felt the same. Yeah. Yep. Grace says my husband is surprised I'm so emotional about the Sarah Boone case. It was a doozy. It was a doozy. And when you really get into the facts and look at what really happened, it is, it's a big deal. And good, you're emotional. I mean, good in a way. It shows you're human. Courtney is saying, looking forward to December 2nd. Yeah. Good morning, Vera. Rita says, when the recordings from Boone's phone were revealed during the trial, was the time the extent of Boone's true nature was revealed. Hi, Linda. I see you. Thank you. Hi, Roz. So I'm just going to get started. It's 10:59. So to the rewatch crew and to everybody who's watching, this is an experiment. I don't know how it's going to go. Normally, I or other creators will do an analysis, put it out there, and then people comment. And I thought you might be interested in the process, and you might be interested in participating in the process. I am very lucky on YouTube because I have an intelligent audience. Hey, Neil. And I think that a lot of you will find that you too see things. So understand too that I have not seen any of this before. And it's obviously not a full analysis that would require listening and re-listening, right? And we don't have time for that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start and go through the case in order. We're going to start with the 911 call. And when I say in order that the police learned things. So starting with the 911 call, then her initial interview. I understand there are clips of body cam out there, and I was warned that it's very graphic, so I'm not going to put it out there. The detectives weren't there from what I understand, so we're not going to go through that. So here's what to know about the case. And I'm going to ask that for those of you who know about the case, please don't put any spoilers in the chat or the comments. There's a reason I'm asking that, and I'll get to that in a second. So the background is Courtney Clenney, a young woman who was an OnlyFans model, was in a relationship with her boyfriend and called 911 because of an incident at their home, after which he passed away. She is charged with M, and she claims it's self-defense. My attitude going in is I don't know anything on purpose. I don't want extraneous information to influence me, even subconsciously. I'm just going to go in and see what we see. Are we ready to go? So, Delia, it's impossible to go through everything in a single video. What we're doing is we're going to take a deep dive into each aspect of it, and we're going to let it unfold. There are a lot of people, myself included, who don't know all the ins and outs of the case. And sometimes, and those of you who watch true crime will notice this too, sometimes a YouTuber or a news outlet will get a hold of a story and give you the highlights as they see it. It's not a deep dive. And if those highlights or those facts are incorrect, and sometimes it's just a detail, sometimes it's a nuance, it really does change your judgment of something. So, for those who don't know anything, and myself included, I think it's more interesting to go through it and let the story reveal itself so you get those aha moments. So, are we ready? Oh, Delia says, I didn't mean in a single video. I get it. So, it depends. If this little experiment goes well, if there's enough interest, enough views, right, enough engagement, then yeah, we'll keep going. But if there's not, you know, then it's not worth it, right? So it's all going to depend on how it goes. So I missed something. Froki's saying being dumb is not as bad as most people think. What? So this case takes place in, I believe, Miami, in a Miami high rise. And we're going to just don't. Okay, I'm seeing somebody put spoilers in already. don't, please. Okay, I guess I can't control you, but I would really appreciate it if somebody doesn't, right? Because yeah, people don't know. So let's just, the idea is let's do an analysis. So let's just do that. I'm going to start with this 911 call. And I have to find it. Okay. Here we go.
Well, now what's the line here? One operator down. What is the address of your emergency? Well, now I'm gonna die. Hey, man, please. 3101. It's 130, so 130. I'm gonna die. Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
I think the 911 operator is mistaking the barking dogs for somebody screaming. And can you see how hard it is for dispatchers or 911 operators to sometimes hear what's going on?
3101. I'm gonna die. I can't feel my arm. 3101. I can't feel my arm. Ma'am, so my boyfriend is dying of a stab. Ma'am, what is the address? What's the address?
My boyfriend is dying. He was stabbed. I'm just sticking a pin in that language.
What's the address? 3131. 3131, Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please, come see my boyfriend. Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business? I want you to 74525, it's you. Is this a house apartment or a business? Baby, I'm so sorry. Ma'am, can you hear me?
So I'm hearing her say, I'm so sorry, suggesting that she had something to do with it. Perhaps it could mean, I'm so sorry this is happening. So this is interesting. Oops. And that is the end of the 911 call. The fact that she is calling 911, I think, is a pertinent point. So it means that she, this wasn't a premeditated M, or it's unlikely to be that she's calling 911. So, and she sounds to me like somebody who is genuinely upset. So, police go to that residence and they find her boyfriend with life-threatening injuries. And in the 911 call, she had said his shoulder. And it made me wonder where in the shoulder, right? So for it to cause a life-threatening injury, I'm wondering if it's more closer up here. So I am going to check your comments and see, do you have any comments? Did this call raise any questions in your mind? Is there anything in the call that you want to make a note of? Brandy says she's prolonging them arriving by not answering the questions. That's a possibility. Sometimes that happens. Whether that's intentional or not is a question. It's common for people to be rambling on 911 calls, for them to not make sense, for them to scream, for them to be generally not helpful, and all unintentionally. Zen Scout says, can't feel his arm, not good at all. Yeah. Maple of Muskoka says maybe she's sorry because she can't do anything. Possibility. So again, all possibilities. And when you come out of case, you purposely don't get yourself locked into one interpretation or another. People react in all kinds of ways. My cat likes true crime says her emotions seem genuine hearing the call. That is what I took from it. Everybody is going to have a different opinion, but that was my sense of it. Kay Wainwright says, I could not understand caller. Yes, that's really common with 911 calls. So you see why 911 call takers have to be pretty good at figuring out what's going on. And the other question in my mind during this call, because she's calling and she said, my boyfriend was stabbed. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, by who? Is there somebody still there? Is there an officer safety concern that we need to be thinking about here? Because you're sending officers to that call. You don't want to send them in blind. So, okay. So do you want to move on to the interrogation? Or does anyone else have anything else to say? Yes, she said, my boyfriend is dying of a stab wound. Yes. William Carl is saying, I'm not familiar with this case, so I'm just listening. No spoilers. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the interrogation, and I have no idea how the volume's going to be. So if it's bad, I apologize in advance. If you need me to turn it up or down or turn my mic up or down, let me know. Okay, here we go.
Plaintiffs advising if they still have vision, do we still have contact with the plaintiff?
Negative. The police on 219, they finally stopped and they lost visual of you. Was not in the stop.
Okay, yes, yeah. Still on vision.
You know, just recently next year, the 339 pulled up to his neighbor. He left the 339, on the 339, pulled up to his neighbor. The power school. And that's it.
Sure, 1918.
Can I use this in the meantime?
Okay.
And they're bringing the water right now, okay?
Thank you.
We're going to close this, okay?
No, it's a blackmail and my gun is quite.
Is somebody coming for me?
Yeah, he's coming right now.
Did you catch this? She said, is someone coming to see me? Fair enough. And he says, yeah, they're coming right now. And she does this, like, almost like she's annoyed. Did you catch that? Interesting. Somebody is making reference in the chat to Clenney's occupation. It's irrelevant, I think. I'm not going to judge her based on that. It's to be seen whether it comes into play or not. Nikki says that was a bit fake. Aaron says she's putting on the waterworks now that someone is coming. Interesting. That's a possibility. He'd left the room before she started crying, but maybe because he said we're coming right now. That's a possibility. So we'll see how she responds when they come back. Let's keep going.
Please, God, please, God, just let me, my dog, please, God, Christian, be okay.
I think she's genuinely crying. What the issue is up for debate, but I think she's genuinely crying. You can hear her stuffed up, and she's just, please let it be. She wants it to be okay. Nikki's saying she must not know there's cameras on her. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And often you leave someone in the interview room to see what they're going to behave like. Someone says, I think this was truly an accident. We haven't got that far yet. I don't think. Okay. That's real crying. Do we want to continue watching body language, or do you want me to fast forward?
Dear God, you can see I know you're there to step me. You know that Christian knows each other so much. It'll be okay. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. So it's just look at you just put on yourself into this kind of person you know who God is. Please protect Christian. Please protect me. And please protect my dog. And please God protect Brother Ariana.
Somebody's asking if she's praying. Yes. And I can hear her saying, begging, please protect Christian. That's the name of her boyfriend. If she was playing up to the cameras in the room, I don't even know if she realizes there are cameras in the room, but if she was, I would expect her to speak more loudly, more clearly, maybe put her head back and pray like that if it was a show. So far, I'm not having a big problem with whether or not this is genuine. So I'm going to check the chat. Robin's saying she acts for a living. This might be for show. Perhaps, but why not make it more clear for the cameras? Why wait until there's no one in the room? The nail biting is she's self-soothing. She's anxious. You can see that. And when you're acting, are you, sticking a paper towel up your nose? I mean, maybe. Mallory thinks she genuinely feels bad. I do too. You can do a bad thing and feel bad.
Thank you. Somebody can come in.
Yeah, we're gonna start talking soon now. Just getting everything set up.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be like, I'm just like, I just cannot believe the way my day went.
Yeah.
It's way worse than, I really want to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? I can't. So she doesn't want to be a trouble to them. I can't believe how my day went. Her boyfriend's in the hospital fighting for his life at this point. Unless he's deceased at this point, not sure how long he survived after the incident.
We'll talk to you
Like
now.
I desperately want to get to the hospital.
Right. I mean, either way, so you don't rush, you still wouldn't be able to see him at this point, obviously.
You said what?
You wouldn't be able to see him at this point, so
Why?
that way you don't have to, because you're still working, you're still taking care of him, it's a process, so they don't
I
let
just want to
anyone
be
in.
there when I can.
So, yeah, once we'll talk about that, okay?
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay, so she wants to go to the hospital and be there. Well, if your loved one is in the hospital, that's a pretty reasonable request. I don't know if the officer is kind of putting her off, saying they're working on him and maybe he's already gone, or if they're really working on him. However, she is a suspect at this point. The police don't know what happened, and he is a witness, right? They can't let her go see him. They can't take the chance that she might do something further if she has done something, and they can't take the chance that she will interfere with any possible statement that he might make.
working on it. You're working on him.
What do you think about that? She's sitting there still working on him. And she's upset over this. Is this somebody who has just been through a traumatic thing and is trying to process, get it through her head, what's going on? Or is this somebody who's not happy that she can't get her way because they're still working on him? Or is it something else? What do you think? Tessa's saying these are cries of, oh no, I could be in real trouble here. Maybe. So, Robin is saying, is she crying because she thought she'd done a better job? I'm not sure. Okay. Detective, yeah, she has wiped away a number of tears and blown her nose. I mean, there's obviously tears here. Robert saying she just wants him to survive for her own benefit. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's too early to say what her motivations are, right? And I'm basing this on not knowing anything. And the police don't know her either. Not these police.
You're fucking working on it. Please, God, don't take Christian completely away from me. We're not going to work out with God. Just let me talk to him again. Let us both tell each other that we're sorry.
So she's praying again. And what I picked up was she wants to talk to him again. I could see that. I would hope you would want someone to be okay for their own sake. And she just said she wants a chance, basically, to tell each other we're sorry. Not I'm sorry or he's sorry. It's each other we. So that is very interesting. Courtney saying, don't take him away from me. Uh-huh. So, yeah, someone saying she loves him. She doesn't want him to pass away. And that is common too, even in situations where there is DV. Did you see that? So she's in her head, she's thinking, and she goes like this. Do you think she's remembering the incident? Or remembering something that upset her? Or is it expecting someone to say something that will upset her? What do you think? Venus thinks that her talking to herself and God out loud is weird and is wondering if it's all for the camera. Yeah, I've seen people do that. I don't know. What do you think about that gesture she did? I think she's in her head. Mel is saying she's remembering something. Yeah. So it could be she's remembering or she's anticipating, aka the cat lady. I think it's replaying over in her head. So very interesting. We'll keep going. This is real. And notice earlier she was hot. She did this. She put the water bottle on her back. That happens when you're really upset. Your temperature can go up. Now she's doing this, and it's like a self-protecting, a self, almost like hugging yourself, self-soothing. So I'm still thinking that she is genuinely upset. Did you see that? She nodded. So she's in her head and she's come up with something that she agrees with. We have no idea what that is, but it's there. Someone in the comments said something. I think she's trying to convince herself that it's going to be okay. And she's sort of back and forth, like how serious it is coming in waves. That sounds right. I that's plausible. Brandy says she's trying to keep the cry on. That's interesting. Christina saying internal conversation. She's thinking of what to say. I agree. Did you see this? Like calculating? Do you see the mouth? What is she doing with the facial expressions? I don't think that's a normal mouth groom. Courtney is asking, rehearsing. Katrina thinks the same thing. And by the way, for people who have just joined, we are looking at this purposely not knowing anything outside of what we're seeing. And I've asked the chat to go ahead and participate and tell me what you think is going on. So the fact of the matter is nobody knows at this point what's happening. And this is just an interesting exercise that I thought people would like to participate in.
Please, God, let Christian be okay. God, please, let Christian be okay. Protect Dodge, too. Protect my family, protect me. Please, God, protect us.
I see this as her convincing herself. Yep, it's going to be fine. Aaron says she's convincing herself that whatever happened wasn't her fault, not that everything is going to be okay. Interesting. Giovanna says she knows he might not be alive and she's scared. SJ Sheila is saying, not familiar with the case. What is she being questioned about? She has just been brought from the scene where her boyfriend has been injured and is no longer with us. She doesn't know yet he's gone.
Apologies for being absolutely fucking covered in blood.
Listen, you don't have to apologize, okay?
Ooh, very interesting. She's apologizing for her state. How many of you think that in such a traumatic situation, that is going to be what you're thinking about? So this tells me that how other people perceive her is very important to her. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but normally those kinds of considerations go out the window at a time like this. If you're somebody who cares about how people perceive you or whether or not your house is a mess and all that, in situations like this, it goes out the window. Courtney, yes, she's very focused on how she's seen. Juno says image is paramount. So, having heard her say this, I would be on the lookout now. I mean, I'm always on the lookout for it, but more so for impression management. Also, she may be saying that as a way to get the detective to reassure her. That might be that attempt to get that from one of the detectives, because anybody reasonable is going to know that the detective is going to say, oh, it's okay. And she needs to hear it's okay. So I'm going to watch out to see if she tries any kind of manipulation interpersonally. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have no idea. It's just a flag. It's just something that her behavior has twigged me to. So I'm going to check the chat here. Okay, no, Nala Stole the Spoon says, if you're looking for forgiveness, I can see it. She might seek it in everything, even from herself. Interesting. Aaron says, I think she was looking for reassurance. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
I completely understand. All right? Things happen, and you can't control it. Okay? So, you don't have to apologize for anything, all right? Detective Brasino, okay? And this is my partner, Sergeant Rodriguez, okay? Today's Sunday, April 3, and the time is 7:36 p.m., all right? What's your first name?
Courtney.
Courtney? Can you spell it for me, please?
C-O-U-R-T-N-E-Y.
Okay. And your last name?
Clenney, C-L-E-N-N-E-Y.
Okay. What is date of birth?
4/21/96.
It's almost your birthday. Mine too.
It's my birthday. Oh, really? When is your birthday?
Day 13.
My boyfriend's just the 12th.
Oh, really?
He turns 28.
Super close. This is in a
Assuming
row.
that he...
Well, he's still in the hospital right now, so okay. Just take a breather, okay? I know this must be very rough for you right now.
No, we were supposed to go to the park with my dogs today. Like, this is not how I explained this, but sorry. That's not what we're talking about. You asked me my birthday. Okay.
And out of nowhere, she brings up the park walking her dogs. So stick a pin in that, because it wasn't a distract. He wasn't asking her anything serious. So she's somewhere in her head. There's a reason she said that. So just watch for it.
What's the next question?
Okay. Are you currently living there?
Yes.
Yeah. The address is 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue. Okay.
So notice when he asks her a question that she knows the answer to, and it's a non-threatening question. Are you currently living there? She says, yes. So if she says, later, you can't take it as a thing. You can't take it as meaning much.
And what apartment was it?
2201.
2201. How long have you guys been living there?
Since the first or second week of January.
Okay. Oh, this year? 2022.
Yeah, we moved here January this year together from Boston.
From Boston?
From Austin.
From Austin. Oh, okay. When did you guys come to Miami from Austin?
We visited last year in March, and we loved it, and we travel all the time together. We like the beach.
Yeah.
It's very good. I mean, I've always wanted to live here, so he was like, he wanted to move to London. I wanted to move here. And I was like, maybe we should start in the U.S.
Yeah,
And he was
then
like,
go to
that,
London.
and we did it. So,
Okay. How long have you guys been together?
about 2 years.
About 2
A
years?
year and a half to 2 years, yeah.
Okay.
Is he okay?
He's still at the hospital. They're still,
I know.
monitoring him and talking to him. So we're waiting.
Oh my God! So he didn't even have to have surgery.
Well, I don't know. They're still doing.
What the crap was that? Did you see that? Talking to him, that was just, I mean, perhaps she has excess energy going on and she needs to get rid of it. But that to me looked performative. Let me see what you are thinking. That looked performative. And it looks like she's not, like it came naturally. Like this is part of her persona. So Roizen says she's a very animated person. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see what else comes out. Aaron says that's thank gosh he didn't die. I think that's what that was supposed to be. So to me, it came across as exaggerated, and that always gets my attention. Some people are very animated, like yours truly. Some people come here just to see my facial expressions. So, there is that. But that seemed a little bit too much. Almost like she's trying to convince them.
X-rays and stuff like that. So I don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear a response.
That's all I have to know. Thank
Okay.
God.
So
That's all I need.
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
And once we're done, I'll go talk to them again and see what's the update. Okay. All right. So you said 1.5 years to 2 years.
Mhm.
Okay. And you said that today you guys were supposed to go to the park.
Mhm. We
Okay.
were. Well, I'll just let you ask questions and I'll answer.
No, you can tell me whatever you want. You can tell me whenever you want.
Yeah, we had just gotten back together. I had broken up with him, and then he came back the last 2 nights,
Mm-hmm.
and everything was perfect. And then to an argument, and I ended up getting scared, and I think that I overreacted, or not overreacted necessarily, but reacted, and I just didn't know exactly what might happen. Yeah, we were right before anything happened. We were going to walk my dogs down to this park over by the Paramount, which has the beach volleyball and basketball court and all that. We're gonna walk them over there and let my dog Ranger play soccer. That was my plan for the day. And
So she admits that they had an argument and she overreacted. Now, she corrects herself and suggests she was concerned about what would happen. But her first thing is, I overreacted. So I'm just going to stick a pin in that because we don't know enough of that story yet to firmly put that puzzle piece in place. But we're going to remember that, right?
go
How old are you
to
talking
the
about?
movie. Or to go to a movie tonight in Miami Beach. My dogs are 8 years old.
8 years old? Oh, okay. Both of them?
Yes.
Oh. You've had them all 8 years? Since they were babies?
Yes.
Oh. What breed are they?
Many Aussies.
Mini Aussies? I love those.
Too.
Super smart.
Yeah.
You guys lived in Austin before here, right? Between the first and second week of January, you guys moved to Miami. You guys stop anywhere before coming to Miami?
She's got her defenses up. She has worked out, okay, it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine. And he's trying to be personable. He's trying to build a bit of rapport by talking about the dogs, and he likes those dogs. And she's flat. She's almost like, next question. So I'm thinking her goal is just to get out of there. She doesn't think she's in huge trouble. This is my interpretation. I am going to check the chat and see what everybody thinks. You can't hear me? Check. All right, can you hear me now? I don't know why. So you can, okay. Okay, so everybody's saying, yes, you can hear me. Okay. I was confused there. Okay, thank you. Now I lost what the heck I was saying. We'll just keep going.
somewhere else between Austin and Miami? Or you went straight to Miami?
We drove the U-Haul from Austin to Miami. Took us like 2 days. I didn't drive one bit, because he went the whole way. So like a day and a half, 2 days. No, we just stopped a bunch of places on the way.
Does he have any family?
He does, he has.
Yeah.
He has his mom and grandma, he's closest to.
Mom and grandma?
Mm-hmm.
We're here in Miami, or?
They live in Dallas. I think his grandma may still be in Nigeria, because they visit a lot, but I think that they're back in Dallas.
Okay.
He has a brother that lives in, I think, Houston. I don't know where his sister lives.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head their phone number, or?
None of theirs, no.
No?
No.
Do you have it on your phone number, on your phone, or?
I think that I would have his mom on my phone for sure, and then maybe his grandma.
Oh, okay. What's his mom's name?
You know, he's told me. I'm terrible.
It's like remembering.
And I met her multiple times, and I've been to her house, and I still didn't tell you. That's pretty bad.
So she's been with this fellow for a couple of years and does not know his mother's name. Does anyone find that odd? And she says she's almost bored or dismissive. Oh, I've met them multiple times. Oh, it's terrible. So, do you not find that odd? Aaron says it's all about her. Yeah. It's almost like, like they don't matter. It's like, I don't know, it's very queen-like, like you're excused.
I mean, how many times have you seen him?
I think 4 times.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's spread apart, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't imagine to like remember somebody's name that easy. So I'm really bad at remember names too. So again,
He's doing a good job. He just validated her, saying, "Yeah, I'm bad with names too." He even got her to smile. This is a good technique in an interrogation or interview.
How about his brother? You know his brother's name, or no?
He is very, like, not, I guess, like, too thorough with talking about. I mean, that's not really probably like the word, but not like too thorough. I feel like I calmed down a little bit once he told me, like, they're just like talking to him. Okay, so I can talk again. Is there, like, he's not really like that thorough or something. He doesn't really talk as much about his family as I do mine. I talk about my family all the time.
Okay. Where's your family at?
In Austin.
You're all in Austin?
All in Austin, yeah.
You have a big family, small family?
So I noticed that her scratching, so that can be stress too, or it could be she had an itch. I noticed she says that he doesn't talk about his family much. She calls it not being thorough. She says she talks about her family a lot. So that gives some insight into the relationship. This could be that he really isn't all that open, or it could be that he doesn't have space to be open. And we don't know which it is yet. I'm going to check the chat. AKA Cat Lady says she feels like a loaded spring, like a bunch of confined energy. Yeah, she kind of does seem like that.
I'm the closest with my immediate family. My mom, my dad, and my little sister.
Okay.
so not really that big of a family.
Oh, okay. What's your mom's name?
Deborah.
Deborah. And your dad's?
Kim.
Kim.
Mm-hmm.
What are their last names?
Clenney.
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 And your sister?
Morgan.
Same last name? Do you ever need us to take a break? You know, because I know it's rough, you know, with everything going on, but when you take a break, you let me know, okay?
Yeah. Thank you guys for giving me water and tissues.
No, definitely. Okay, so do you guys work here in Miami, or do you guys have your own business?
I do social media, so I'm an influencer, I guess is what
Oh, yeah?
call it. Yes, I'm an influencer. And he does stocks and crypto.
What do you focus on, like Instagram or social media apps?
Instagram, OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
It's just, yeah.
So both of them have a source of income. She says Instagram, and notice her volume goes down when she says OnlyFans. That suggests to me that regardless of what she may say or proclaim outwardly, that this is a source of, I don't know if I want to go as far as saying shame, but that she knows it's not acceptable or accepted by everybody.
It pays the bills.
What's your Instagram?
Yes, and she just gave some confirmation to what I just said, because she says it pays the bills. She is justifying what she does. She doesn't want to be judged based on what she does for a living.
Courtney Taylor.
Huh?
Courtney Taylor. Taylor spelled T-A-I-L-L-R.
T-A-I-L-L-R. L-O-R.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that he does?
Stocks and crypto.
Stocks and crypto.
He just has stocks and does crypto.
Yeah, so he's pretty good with numbers and all of that. Yeah. And he's done that since you've known him, or?
I mean, as far as I know, he's done it since he was 19, and he's 27.
Okay.
So he's pretty damn good at it. That's, I guess, compared to other people that do it.
Yeah. And how long were you guys planning on being in Miami, or before going to London? Or?
I don't think London was ever really going to happen. I don't think I would ever do that. But yeah. We were going to move into a house.
Mm-hmm.
So, have an apartment, and then we were like, maybe just move here for a year. And then once we got here, we were like, no, this is dope.
Yeah.
So, we have the dog picked out. It's a golden retriever. We're going to name Mello. So, we were going to get a house. So, we could have a backyard. Because I have 2 dogs, and then we're going to have 3. So, we're planning on staying here for a while.
Okay.
Notice or recall that the question was, how long have you been in Miami? And I almost stopped and commented on that because he'd already asked that question. And I was going to point out, sometimes they ask a question again and you think the officer is stupid, but they're not stupid. Sometimes they'll ask the same question in several different ways to see if they get the same answer every time. But she's gone off on this big thing. She's in her head about how life was supposed to be, and now the tears. So very interesting. Brandy, she does not know that he's gone. Peter is pointing out these details are out of place. Yeah, they are. And there's a reason for that. Now, the reason could be innocuous, or it could be she's trying to redirect. But the question was really not a tough question.
I just hope we get the opportunity to do that. Sorry.
Once again, you don't have to apologize.
Hopefully I'm over freaking out and like I'll be able to see him or whatever. But I don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will keep it together.
Okay.
And another interesting comment here. She says, hopefully I'm over freaking out. So it's like she doesn't even know herself. She doesn't know if she can keep it together. So it makes me wonder if in the rest of her life she is emotionally dysregulated. Again, not enough here to say that's the case, but it does raise a question. Veronica is saying, and she still thinks that after all this, they will be together. So, and Rel is asking why sorry. Why is she saying she's sorry? She's saying she's sorry because she keeps crying. Peter thinks she's fishing for info. I think she's fishing for reassurance so far. I think she just wants to be reassured that she can carry on as she was. Royson saying she has never kept it together. Everything is extreme. Everything. Oh, Rel is saying I'm not really asking. Okay. Okay, let's keep going.
So how about before we go into like the details of what happened today, okay, I have to swear you in and read you a couple other paperwork. It's just normal process for everybody, with victims, witnesses, everybody, okay? So
I got a chance to talk to Christian today.
to who?
Christian.
Who's Christian? Oh,
The victim.
they haven't told me his name
I
yet.
don't know if I'm the victim.
No.
He's definitely the victim. What'd you say?
No, he didn't know his name, so he was confused. I was the one that went to the scene.
I just assume everybody knows everything.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, yeah, that's okay.
Not always.
Will I get a chance to talk to him?
We'll see once.
If he.
We'll see once we're done with everything. Talking and with the scene and seeing what's the update with him, and then we'll definitely get you an answer later. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is an investigation into what do we call it, a domestic dispute, which.
Somebody in the chat made a good observation, and that is that she goes through the motions of pulling her robe closed, but she never actually fully closes it or keeps it closed. I wonder if, and first of all, that's a good observation. I wonder if that motion is not so much about covering up, but really about wanting to feel like she's protecting herself, like a self-soothe or self-protection.
Occurred at 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue, apartment 2201. reference to case number?
Yeah. Sorry. It's going to be 22 0403 00 23743.
The City of Miami Police incident number. Okay. This statement is being taken in the City of Miami Police Department, the investigation office, which is located at 400 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Miami-Dade County, Florida. Okay. Okay. You raise your hand, your right hand. Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, put your hand down. Real quick, have you taken any alcohol or medication or narcotics today?
No.
No.
I have just like medicine that I do, but nothing that is mind altering.
Oh, okay. Like what?
I actually don't know what it's called. Taking new medication just for.
What's the medication for? If you don't mind me asking.
So it looks like that was redacted. No, it wasn't Miranda. She's not in custody. She's not under arrest. They don't know what happened. They want to find out. So they're not required. It's not a custodial interview. So, I mean, that's not where they are. I wanted to point out the fact that he's asking if she's on any medication or taken any medication, and that is a really good question. One reason for that is to make sure that they can rely on the statements of the witness that they're interviewing. If you're 3 sheets to the wind, you might be completely unreliable. So they want to ask that question. Also, it goes to voluntariness. So if it turns out that she does end up getting arrested, you don't want some defense lawyer to say, hey, she was under the influence of a medication, and so that contributed to her not making a voluntary statement. So that's good for a couple of different reasons. And she can't come back later and say, oh, no, my statement was wrong because I was on this or that.
What is your level of education? Was it last grade or did you graduate?
From college.
From college? Okay. What college was that?
ACC and Santa Monica Community College.
Okay.
Same with the last level of education. They want to get a beat on kind of who they're dealing with. If you had somebody in there who had a developmental disability, you might have to explain things differently, right? Captain Katie says, in a station, I thought it was automatic. You're talking about Miranda? Not necessarily. Shanna's saying, I've noticed some people who seem to fit her personality, seem to purposely enjoy making others feel uncomfortable with things such as innuendo. Yeah, I'm not seeing this here. I can see why someone might think that here. And I'm not seeing overt flirtatiousness either. What I'm seeing is somebody who is accustomed to letting it all hang out so it doesn't faze them, right? If that was me, I'd be asking for sheets or something. So I just think she's just used to it. It just doesn't think of it. So I'm just checking the chats. Okay, keep going.
How long of school did you do there? Approximately.
It's like at each one, well, ACC about a year and a half, I think. Santa Monica, like a semester or two.
Okay.
It was never for me.
Okay. Do you have you been diagnosed with any mental disability or anything like that? No? Okay. Alright, I'm going to move over to this one. Okay. Yeah.
Veronica is saying it seems odd if they know she did it, accident or not, that they don't at least detain her for questioning. They do have her there for questioning. That's what we're watching.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer or for advice before we ask any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Would I be able to talk to my father? Because he's pretty much acts as my attorney with, like, I mean, not like for stuff like this. Obviously, I've never been in this kind of a situation.
Is he an attorney?
No. He's just.
Well, we'll give you a chance.
We know what to do.
We'll give you a chance to talk to your father later. Okay.
I mean, before I I just feel like I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be fine. I think Christian will be fine, and I will be fine. So I mean, there's no need. But I just would like to talk to somebody.
No worries. I'm gonna.
So you saw the penny drop when they read her rights. And now she's covering, Now she's covering herself, and that is about protection, right? That's not about modesty. And she wants to talk to her dad, and her dad will know what to do. And that's interesting to me too. She's a grown woman, so it makes me ask questions about her upbringing. It makes me ask questions about the level of dependency on her father. To me, she seems rather immature, but I don't know. What do you think? You guys are talking about detective saying, no, don't miss number 9. Flashbacks to James Owen's arguments in Sarah Boone. So Annie's saying, officer, are you sure that's the newest Miranda card? Okay. So I think the penny has dropped, and now she's getting upset. I have questions about her level of dependency, her level of maturity, and she's getting upset again, but this time it's clearly not about Christian. This time it's clearly about herself. Now she's worried, and she wants her dad, and they're not letting her have her dad, and that is not the same thing as denying her a lawyer. Her father is not an attorney, she just said. So she's all of a sudden now she's not happy. And this is interesting to me that the waterworks come on when she doesn't get her way. And I wonder if the waterworks has worked for her in the past. Not saying that's the case. I don't know yet. I'm just wondering.
I'm going to give you some time to talk to your dad or with anybody that you need to talk to, okay?
And I want to go home and see my dogs, and I want to go to the hospital. Will I be able to do that tonight?
We took care of the dogs. We found someone, I believe your mom. mentioned that that's taken care of them before when you travel. So
Love and thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, so we got able to get a hold of them, and they're actually gonna be taken over there, just so you know. So they're taken care of. They're in good hands. They're probably actually already there now. Okay, so we took care of those because I know they were seeing they were going back and forth. And they seemed a little, you know. I know how dogs are. We're all dog lovers here. All three of us, you know, we also have dogs. So that's like family, and we took care of them. Just so you know.
Yeah, the female officer that was over there was talking to my mom and trying to get the
one that was
food.
able.
Thank God.
So they're in good hands.
Thank you. I want to be. I want to talk to my mom.
To me, this looks like she expressed a desire. They think the problem is one thing, which is she's worried about her dogs, but really the problem is another thing. I think she wants to see her dogs to make her feel better, not that she's actually worried about the dogs. That's what all of this is telling me. What do you think? Jacinda says she's one of these women, in my opinion, that histrionics has worked her entire life. That's possible. People do what has worked for them before.
For an hour on the phone, and I want to go sit at the hospital. Am I going to be able to do that?
So far right now, I can't give you an answer. Okay, we just have to go through everything. Because remember, this just happened, so I can't really give you a straight answer. If I do, I would be lying to you, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to lie to you.
Okay.
Okay. Just as well as I don't want you to lie to me. I don't want to lie to you. We want to be able to understand everything that went down today. Okay. As truthful as we can be. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us?
Yeah. If I don't, what happens?
I mean,
yeah.
It's your choice. It's your right. But at the end of the day, we just want to figure out what happened. Okay. We just want to hear your side of the story and what occurred, so we can piece this together and come to an understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, fortunately we weren't there, you know. You were, so there's no better person to tell it than you.
And it took so long for I don't know what I honestly, it was such a blur. I was on the phone with my mom. I don't know.
For me, right over here.
Yeah, you can reread it. Take your time, reread it again. Same thing you read.
This is why I would like to call my dad and say, can I just do this, or should I have to get a lawyer? Because
She started launching into a narrative before they asked her for it. What they need from her is for her to sign that waiver. So makes me wonder if at the very beginning, remember she was doing all that talking to herself and she was clearly having some sort of dialogue in her head. If she thinks now's that time to launch into the narrative. I'm not saying that's what it is. All the pieces aren't there yet, but I'm wondering. So, yes, and Giovanna's pointing out, yeah, she wants her dad again. So, again, this dependency, why is it she cannot either decide for herself or say, I would like to speak to a lawyer to give me proper legal advice? Frauke, they want her to waive her right to remain silent. She's saying she's willing to talk to them. And so she needs to sign off on that if that's the case. So just very interesting. And she's, recoiling and tensing up a bit. She's somebody to me who really needs reassurance, whether it's from the detectives and now that the penny is dropping from her father, but she needs reassurance. She cannot take care of herself.
I realize, like, how very serious this is. Like, I was sitting there in a freaking puddle of my boyfriend's blood, begging him to, like, please not, like, fucking give up on me. Like, man, like, this shit is fucking serious. So, I don't think I'm necessarily in trouble, but, like, I just would like to. Can I just talk to him? I have, this happened, and I was. The whole situation happened, and I haven't talked to anybody who means anything to me.
No, I understand. Right now,
okay,
right
well, you
now,
know what?
Okay.
What?
No, just.
I've never been in this kind of situation.
You can talk to them later.
But before I talk to you guys.
I find it interesting how she can flip from to, yep. Her affect just flips just like that. It makes me think her persona is this sort of extreme, over the top kind of thing. So, just checking the chat here. Okay. I think, and she says, I don't think I'm necessarily in trouble. I'm not sure if she really believes that. If she believed that, she would just talk to them. I don't think she really believes it.
Why can't I talk to him beforehand?
Well, because I would like to understand what's going on.
I know, but like if I say, hey, is it cool if I sign a constitutional rights waiver
because
when my boyfriend has
like,
not
a lawyer.
Yeah, if you're an adult, if you were a minor,
he would be the one who would. He handles my lawyer too.
If you were under 18, then yeah, I would provide you a phone call to your father. But you're over 18, so
I don't feel like it. I don't want to tell my parents.
Yeah, I get you. But I feel the same way with my parents. You know, I still go to them too for questions that they've dealt with in the past.
Okay.
You know?
My dad handles I'm so freaking out right now a little bit. Like I want to go to the hospital and I want to just call my fucking mom.
So she's losing me. I believed that her tears in the beginning were real. I still think that. But right now, this looks to me like a temper tantrum. She keeps arguing. They keep explaining it to her. She can just ask a lawyer, right? And so then her response when she doesn't get her way is, I want my way. She's having a temper tantrum. That is my opinion. I'm going to check the chat and see what you guys have. Oh, Rel says, okay, dad didn't work. Maybe mom will. Somebody says she's losing control. Yeah. Yep. Giovanna says she's a spoiled child and not an adult. Benton says all of this dog talk seems excessive to me. I don't know. But that's an interesting point to consider. Erin says she could just say she's not going to talk to them without a lawyer and end the discussion. Yes, she could say that. And she's not being an adult. And here's the real world. And these are your options. And she doesn't like the options. And so she's going to have a temper tantrum to get her way. And now we're in this little bit of a power struggle here. And just because the power struggle isn't forceful doesn't mean it's not a power struggle. And she's all about what she wants to do. Visiting Christian and going to the hospital has, I don't know where that idea went. It's just kind of slipped away. Jacinda says temper tantrums have obviously worked time and time again. Yeah. Yeah, people do what has worked for them in the past. Let's keep going.
And I know that I do not get that, right? I know it. But here's the thing, is that this is constitutional rights waiver. My dad handles my lawyer. I'm not going to take a court-appointed lawyer. My dad handles my lawyer. I would not be calling my lawyer. So my dad is the first person you ought to call, if that makes sense. I've never been in a situation like this where somebody's in a hospital. I've never been in this kind of situation. That's why, like, I don't want to do anything wrong.
I could see a defense attorney trying to argue about this later, because she's saying, I don't want to take a court-appointed lawyer, but my dad is the one who would call my lawyer. So I could see an argument about this. I don't think it's a winning argument, but I could see it. Linda saying, I think to Courtney, wanting a lawyer is admitting guilt, so she won't do that. Interesting. That's an interesting thing. I know that a lot of people assume that because somebody wants a lawyer, it must mean they're guilty. That is an erroneous assumption. If I was questioned about something I did not do, about something I'm innocent of, I would ask for a lawyer.
You know?
I mean, it's your decision at the end of the day. But
what happens if not?
If not, then that's it. We don't talk about what happened to him. We just have to take the stories that we've been told from the people next door and previous situations, and try and narrow it down to what happened today.
You get a much better picture, a much better idea coming from you who was there today than us trying to piece it together
From other
people
people's
that weren't in there, you know. There's no better story to get than yours. Who was there.
When he said, we will have to talk to people next door and look at prior incidents, she was almost frozen. This person who has been somebody described her as a spring, suddenly becomes very still. And there's a saying, when they shut up, when they stay still and are really paying attention, you've got something. So he hit on something there with what he said to her. What he said is a very common thing. Okay, you don't want to talk to us. We'll just ask everybody else. But, I mean, don't you want to get your side out? That's common. But her reaction right here, that stillness, that locking on to what he's saying and the implications of that tells me there is something there. There is something either in the history or something that a neighbor or somebody near knows that she does not want them looking at. And so now she's going to reconsider this whole thing. That's my opinion.
So which is why we prefer it from you, but you know, like you said, it's your decision if you want to or not. But for us to obviously proceed and make a better decision for all of us, it's getting your story, you know. You were there, you know,
My boyfriend is not dead, is he?
Well, he can't talk to us right now either way. He's in the hospital.
Jack is just homicide.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's like the Dexter vibe. All of those things are like.
To you on scene. It's Sunday.
Oh, she just realized that the jacket there said homicide. So, and notice when she says, my boyfriend's not dead, is he? It wasn't panic that we see. This was confrontation. This was, oh boy, something's going on here. I'm not seeing panic. If you put me in a room like that, or if, well, heck, it wouldn't matter. If you or I applied to myself were approached by a homicide detective talking about one of your loved ones, and you learned they were a homicide detective, wouldn't you freak out? Wouldn't you be really panicked and worried? That's not what we're seeing here. I still think that the tears in the beginning were real. But this, she's switched gears. She is now in full self-protection mode. And she's in self-protection mode because there's something to protect here. So, very interesting change. Let me see what everybody in the chat is saying. Okay, not seeing a whole ton. I'll keep going.
So Sunday, domestic violence scenes don't work. So we handle their calls. Anytime we get into the domestic violence calls, we handle it for them. And so that's why we were raised from the beginning.
Can I go and come back?
No, unfortunately, no, I can't. It's steps, once we handle this, and we'll go to the next step. And
Is there a chance I'm going to go home tonight?
I don't have a definite answer for you.
Okay, well, I'll just...
Okay. So the time is...
I need to...
8 p.m.
There's blood up in my...
Let's start from the start. You guys are supposed to take out your dogs to the park, right? And then what happens after that?
Like I said, a little bit blur.
Yeah.
I was doing laundry and watching a...
That shouldn't have been so hard. He gets her started. He gives her the starting point that she had brought up earlier. They were going to take the dogs for a walk. And he says, so what happened? And instead of going from that point, she pauses. She thinks about it. And so she's going to decide the starting point here. So that is interesting to me. I think she's working out in her head what it is she wants to tell them.
Christina Randall, or listening to her Christina Randall video, and tried to call my mom. She didn't answer the first time. And then he came back with a Subway sandwich. Before he left, he recited exactly what I wanted. And I said, I'll text what I want to you. And he said, I know what you want. I said, no, you don't. And he recited it to me before he left. And he got it perfectly right.
This is guilt. This is guilt that he got the sandwich right. And that makes me wonder if, was she high maintenance? Just wondering. Aaron, yes, they did Mirandize her.
Okay.
And then he left. I guess he went to go bike over there. That's just what he said. I don't know if he walked or biked, but he told me he's going to bikers.
Like a bicycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
He came back. And I said something about like, oh, are you going to like reshare your location with me? Like, did you share it? And he said, yeah, I shared it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he goes, the other day, like when you were done with me. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. Like, reshare it. And then he told me.
So she's talking about him sharing his like geolocation with her. And does anyone else find that odd? Or, I mean, I don't know if I'm just being old here. If you're a younger person, do you just share each other's geolocation with each other? I find that odd. Anyone? It makes me wonder if she was tracking him, but it could be. It could be an age thing. So Mace is saying, I think it's common for younger folks. Okay. Veronica is saying it's not odd for the younger generations. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And here's an example of how easy it can be to perceive something in the wrong way. Just because I think it's weird, I wouldn't do that, doesn't mean it is weird. So thank you for the information.
I mean, it kind of like turned into like a little like argument or something. And then he told me to reshare mine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I will. And then I didn't do it immediately. He asked me about it again. And I don't know what I was thinking, but it just said something about, well, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be?
Okay.
Which I wouldn't have been. I love him. But it's like, you know, maybe you don't want to know where I am. I guess maybe it'll just like hurt him because he was pressing me. And he ended up pinning me against the wall. And then, I mean, I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like, they were looking at my neck and I was like, I mean, I'm not saying.
Where did that come from? So I ended up. No. I ended up. So he, me, I, we, and then I ended up, not he did something. It's, so what happened? How did you end up? And he's maybe doing this to her, or maybe he isn't. It's really convoluted, and there is a lot missing here. So huge red flag, huge. And these officers are not idiots. I mean, they're going to know, I would imagine, that this story isn't hanging together. What do you guys think? Courtney says, yeah, she skipped a ton of information. Yes. And I ended up. What is that? That's like at the very beginning at the 911 call, he was stabbed. So, Mallory's saying disjointed. Yes, it is. Yeah. So, yeah, Courtney's saying vague, red flag. Yeah.
Choking me like, you know, whatever. But I mean,
Choking me like whatever. What? And she's saying it like, oh yeah, like me and my friends went shopping, and yeah, I saw this pair of shoes and whatever and blah, blah, blah. So now she's saying this happened on this day. So I'm looking at her and I cannot see a clear picture. This is not a good enough image. But right away, I would be wanting to see if there are red marks on her neck, if there's any indication, does she have broken fingernails? Are there scratches on her neck? Because sometimes what happens in that kind of situation is the victim will try and pull the offender's hands off, right? And you'll see the victim scratches their own neck, trying to get the person's hands off of them. So it's going to be interesting to see what, if any injuries that she has. Now, sometimes red marks or bruising don't show up right away. So they'll take a picture and then they'll do it again in a few days. So I am going to check the chat and see Oh, you guys, some people are still talking about her profession. I don't care. Unless it's specifically relevant to the case, I don't care. I don't judge people on what they do for a living. Okay, so the story isn't making sense. She's distancing herself. She's leaving out a lot of information. She has suddenly compressed a whole lot of time. She's hiding time. And there aren't, from what I can tell, injuries that corroborate her story, although there may not be. So let's keep going.
I had my neck, and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. Yeah. I could not breathe.
So she flips from what happened today, as she alleges it, to what happened before. And now she's describing what happened before. And she's saying I couldn't breathe, and that's interesting. Most victims of this don't describe it that way. They describe feeling like they were going to pass out. They describe pressure in their face and their eyes and their head. They don't describe not breathing. So that is an interesting and odd description, but somebody who has not experienced that kind of crime would not know that. You might think that the issue would be breathing. So I am so totally, I want to say suspicious, but honestly, at this point, I'm not believing her. So, okay. Kimberly, I think I hear what you're saying, but everybody's a human being. That's the bottom line. So, okay. So I'm not believing her.
And I don't think that he is trying to kill me, but I was scared. And all 3 times I have been scared. So yeah, I'm on the floor. And he had me pinned and was me up.
So again, she hid some time and she hid some activity. So she goes from talking about other times and other times that she was scared and comes back. So yeah, I'm on the floor. How did you get to the floor?
I'm on the, get my mom on the phone. And I'm just trying to really remember. Hey, my mom on the phone. And I remember she was standing against the couch. We were obviously it was a big deal at this point. So this happened over by the door and somehow moved over in the living room. He was standing by.
Do you see this? She's doing this with her hands, right? This is not, usually you think of that as an illustrator, but notice she's doing this with her hands as she's trying to figure it out. I think the gesture with her hands is her actually trying to figure out where everybody was. What do you think? Okay.
By the couch, kissing for the kitchen. I was in the kitchen. And then he just I could see all the whites in his eyes, and he was coming at me.
So she's on the phone with her mother. She can see all the whites in his eyes. And I know that this is a lie too. And the reason I know that is what you hear from victims where somebody is about to go in for them, you don't see the whites in their eyes. They describe the eyes as being black because the pupils dilate so largely. the expression where you see the whites in somebody's eyes would be fear or surprise. Expressions where they're going to open their eyes wide, right? If you're focusing, zeroing in on prey, you're not doing this wide-eyed thing. You're lasering in and the pupils dilate. So this, in my opinion, is a lie. And I noticed that she's changed the direction in which she's looking. I think she's creating in her head.
And so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear.
So she grabbed a knife. Wait a minute. If she's on the phone with mom, I mean, what is she doing? Hi, mom. I had a really bad day. We're arguing. Oh, and he's coming at her, so she grabs the knife. Does she drop the phone? Does she scream, Mom, help? I mean, she's very dependent on her parents. Why isn't she yelling for mom to help? Why did we not hear a 911 call from the mother saying, oh my gosh, my daughter is being attacked right now. Here's her address. Something very wrong with this story. Oh yes, Courtney. That's correct. Courtney says, wait a minute, I thought she was on the floor. That's right. Good catch, Courtney. Because now she's on the phone and she's reaching up behind her to get knives or a knife. So this isn't hanging together. This is made up.
My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them.
Sorry. And the knife that my mom bought me for Christmas. What? Does that have to do with anything? Interesting, adding these superfluous little details.
And I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God. It was just like, I.
So now the over drama, and she's not in her memory. I thought she was going to say, I swear to God, if you come near me, something like that. But that's not where she is in her head. She's now looking at them. I swear to God. So she's invoking a higher power. She's doing her over dramatic thing. This is full on persona, not who she is, right? She's putting on a show right now for them. And she can't even make a whole sentence. She says, I swear to God, and then she switches. So very interesting. Addie says, why does swearing always mean the person is about to lie? If it can sometimes mean they think you're not going to believe them. So somebody who is always accused of lying might actually come across as a liar because they're doing things to try to convince you. So that can happen, but it's unnecessary. And when you're telling the truth, you just say the truth. She doesn't need to stop and assess where they are and make sure they're along for the ride. So it generally does mean that. And this, invoking a higher power business. Paige says, it is in the details because she expresses feelings mixed real earlier and acting now. Yes. But most importantly, the details don't add up. Yes, you are correct. So just because somebody is upset doesn't mean that they're innocent or guilty. Courtney, she's not making eye contact. Is this significant or normal for people recounting events? Everybody has a different baseline. So you look at her baseline. When somebody's trying to remember something, so if I ask you, what did you have for lunch last Thursday? You're going to start searching. So your eyes are going to move. You're going to start searching in your brain for the answer. Doesn't mean you're lying. Some people are uncomfortable with a lot of eye contact. You see this sometimes with some autistic people and some who don't have autism. So it doesn't mean that. It is normal for people to be looking all over the place while they're having a conversation with you. Also, though, on the flip side, if you see someone and they're just really holding eye contact with you, like for too long, or making sure that they've locked onto you because they want to convince you, that's a red flag. Some people will make that eye contact because they think they're supposed to, so they'll make that eye contact when they're lying. So I don't think the answer is cut and dry, but there's some information.
I mean, I grab and be like, don't come anywhere closer to me. Because, earlier, I was having 2 other times I couldn't fucking breathe.
So, don't come any closer to me. So she's grabbed a knife, and initially, when she was doing the movements and describing grabbing the knife, she went over her left shoulder. Now she's demonstrating she has the knife in her right hand, but he's barreling at her. How does she have time to do that? And where's the phone? And as Courtney pointed out earlier, is she sitting? Is she standing? Because she was on the floor. So, how is she moving around all these places? And if he's barreling at her, how big is the place? Does she have that much time? He's barreling at her and she can see the whites of his eyes, which she can't unless he was frightened or surprised. So there are elements in here, little details that might be true, just like how Letitia Stout accidentally told on herself all the time, right? They do this stuff. So, okay. So now she has this weapon in her hand and again justifies it again because I was afraid before. So we are not seeing someone in their memory recounting a story. The part of her brain that she's in right now is right in this room. She's not back there recounting, because if she was, she wouldn't offer up the justification. So that tells you something about how reliable the story is at this point.
Sorry, I couldn't breathe, and it's very scary. And I just think, just like this kind of thing, where I was saying, do you know if he's okay? If he's choking me and he's angry.
So here we go. The big act. She stopped telling the story. She had just avoided the story with what? A bit of, I don't know if I want to go as far as saying histrionics, but we're getting there, right? The drama and the waterworks and the redirect. Because it was a really important part, a crucial part in the story of what happened. And boom, she has redirected. So, big red flag. Honey, you'd be out of here. Just tell them what happened, if it is as you say it is. So not only is it a redirect and the histrionics, and I think the fact that these are 2 males may play into her reactions because she may be hoping to use the pretty girl card and the pretty girl damsel in distress card. And the one officer was willing to reassure her before, so maybe she can elicit some of that. And right now, look at her. She's looking across the table at the sergeant. At the sergeant who didn't try to reassure her. She knows she needs to get him on board. I'm not saying she's consciously thinking all this stuff, but it's all there. So I'm just checking the chat. Okay. So she's given a story now and redirecting and justifying. Let's keep going.
Angry enough, he might this is different, I think. But if he's like choking me or like pinning me or something.
And she just blew it. She talked about times before. And then she said, well, this is different, I think. Uh-huh. And now she's back to him doing this to her before, and she uses the word if.
Something and I can't breathe. He might go too long. So I grab my knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's going to grab either the phone or like the knife or something. And so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer. It's coming at me, and I threw it.
And she's like she doesn't know what's going on. She's still on the phone with her mother. It's bizarre. She doesn't say, Mom, help me. Bizarre. And now she pauses again at the crucial moment. She doesn't know what the answer is that she's supposed to say. She's gearing up to tell a lie, I think. So I'm just going to check the chat. Oh, people are still talking about her clothes. Yeah, you go to the station with whatever, right? You're not getting changed. Okay, so I believe she is about to tell a big lie.
I was like, don't come any closer. It's coming at me, and I threw it. And I meant for it to.
And she said, I threw it. So she's suggesting she threw the knife. But when she says, and I threw it, this is the big dramatic moment. And she almost, you can hardly hear her. So her volume drops. She knows this is not true. She knows this is probably not believable. So I threw it, and then she's going to move on now, I imagine, to justification or explanation. I don't know yet. The other thing I want to point out is she is gesturing like this with the knife. If you throw a knife, well, first of all, I want to know about, they don't know now, but I would like to know, where exactly, what was the angle that it hit him? Because if she's down low, is it an upward angle? But she's saying she threw it. Well, if you throw a knife, first of all, like this, when you follow through, that knife is going down. If you're going to throw a knife, right, you're throwing it like this. I don't know if like this as opposed to this. It's going to change where that knife ends up, first of all. So she's gesturing like this. So I'm having trouble believing that it would hit him in the shoulder and not his knee or his leg or something, depending on the distance between them. So that's first of all. And secondly, how do you cause a knife to go in deeply enough to cause his demise by throwing it like this, right? I mean, it's got to, what kind of, what are we talking about, an arrow? It's hard. It would have to break through a lot in order to cause that kind of damage. I don't believe, and I'm not an expert, maybe somebody else with medical knowledge, forensic medical knowledge can tell me, but I just don't believe that. This is unbelievable to me. So this is, Mace says, she is thinking of Hollywood physics. Yeah. There is no way that this story here is correct. Even if you ignore her inconsistencies, the hiding time, the redirects, the game playing, even if you ignore all of that, this story cannot be true, in my opinion. I am open to being proven wrong. And the story about him coming at her, I'm not really buying that either, because there's a whole lot missing, and I'm wondering what the heck Mom was doing. If my child was on the phone with me being attacked, I'm not just going to, just stay on hold for a couple of minutes until it's over? What is going on? Oh, Courtney says, self-defense expert, weapons expert here. There are very few people in the world that would release a blade without fear of hurting themselves. You're 100% right. Interesting. See, I told you, you guys are great. You know stuff that I don't know. So that is very interesting, Courtney. Rel, if she was so afraid and she's not a knife thrower, isn't throwing the knife an odd choice? Yeah, it is. And pretty wild that it actually results in this kind of injury. So we will keep going.
How far away was he?
I was by my fridge, and he was like by the edge of one of the chairs of the sofa.
Okay.
Like
comparing to what
10 feet. I'm trying to think in my head. I'm trying to make the.
Was he closer than I am?
No, but this is further.
Don't interrupt my narrative. I'm trying to think in my head.
So like what? Like the length of this room?
No, further than that.
Okay.
Oh, well, if I said, yeah, you're right. It was more than 10 feet then. It was definitely further than this.
Okay, maybe some closer.
So he's coming at her, and she sees the whites of his eyes, but now she's describing quite a long distance. And so now, even I know that physics will not allow what she's saying to be true about the knife throw, because she's holding it like this. It's not going to travel that distance. And also, with the velocity required and the precision to strike him so hard that it penetrates deeply enough to cause the injuries that ended up happening. So the more she talks, the more she's digging herself in. And look at her. She just sits back and she's looking at him like, it's almost like she's going to say, okay, I told you a story. Can I go home now? Courtney saying, nope, this story is 100% nope. You've heard it. Courtney has experience with self-defense weapons. And Courtney saying, nope, I agree. Courtney says, if you're fighting for your life, you know you can't let it go. Yeah. And I've seen instances where somebody has fought over a weapon and they will go through a whole lot to not let go of that weapon. Because if the perpetrator gets a hold of your weapon, oh boy, you're in big trouble, right?
It's a lot smaller than it is here.
It was further than that.
Okay. So then, you were by
and I
the
got
fridge and he
scared.
was by the couch? You were by the fridge and he was by the couch?
Yes, I was in front of the fridge. He was by the couch.
Yes, and then
behind my island.
And then what kind of movements did he make that at the moment? He was going to
Started
walk
running
up?
at me.
Running? Okay.
Well, charging, aggressively walking, something.
What was he doing?
He's running at her. Well, he started running at her. Not he is running at her. Started. Charging, she calls it. Aggressively walking. Whatever. Right? Which is it? This is pretty important. It's almost like she's saying here, choose a story. Just choose. You can, it's like multiple choice stories to tell the police. Can you do that? Like if the police ask you for an alibi, can you say, I have these potential 3. Which would you like?
Like, was he doing something with his hands or?
When he had his hands up. I couldn't tell you
Leading question. I wish he didn't ask that. And she just says, yeah, he had his hands up. Look, if somebody's charging at you and you're scared, your normal reaction is to really look at the threat. So at scenes, you hear witnesses not know anything, but they know what that weapon looks like, or they know they just stare down the barrel of a gun, or they're looking at the blade and they don't notice a whole lot else. So a whole lot will be wrong about the details of their statement, and they're not lying. It's because they're focused on the threat. And that is a normal reaction, right? And she's kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know. Let me out of here. So I'm not at all impressed with her story. And yeah, so in the beginning, I'm thinking, oh, self-defense, poor girl. Now I'm liking her for maybe doing something on purpose here.
Was he yelling at you at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, what was he saying?
Well, I'm supposed to put my hand up, so I really need to think.
So he asked what he was saying, and she looks away. She doesn't know. You know why? Because he wasn't saying anything. And then, instead of answering the question, she says, I put my hand up. And again, she's using her right hand. Wait a minute, what happened to the knife? What happened to, I turned around and got the knife? What happened? So it sounds like a subtle difference. It sounds like a minor difference in detail, but this is the crucial point. So it matters.
No. Yeah, I remember one of the things, but I don't think it's relevant.
So she didn't like the silence. So the detectives are doing something smart here by letting there be silence. Sometimes that is one of the most effective things you can do, especially when you're dealing with someone you know is lying to you, is just wait. And she shows she's not comfortable with the silence. Not being comfortable with the silence does not mean that a person is lying. It just means they're not comfortable with the silence. There are a lot of reasons. But, you know, we're in this context. And she's kind of like, whatever. Like, she just wants to now move on, change the subject.
No, go ahead, tell me. It might be relevant. It might help me understand this a little more.
Oh, yeah. And she brings up something else. Oh, there's something else, but it might not be relevant. So right away, my stomach is going, ugh, because, all right, honey, really? So you know this isn't landing well. You know this isn't going to fly. So I'm expecting a game. I'm expecting her to somehow blame the victim.
Okay, so why don't you go find one of the fucking guys in G-Wagons? Because I had said something about that when I broke up with him like a week ago. Out of anger. I didn't say it because I want that. Because I love him.
And again, impression management. So he said this, which was really mean, and that's what she wants to get across. And it's because I said this other thing, which was mean, but I don't mean it. So please don't judge me for that.
But that was just one of the things that you said.
Was that at the moment that he was charging you or earlier in one of the arguments?
It was before he choked me. Yes, it was before he choked me.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Before he choked me and whatever. Whatever. Okay, Letitia. She doesn't have a story. Whatever. Yeah, come on, move along. Just accept it. People are saying Amber Heard. Frauke says throwing a flower vase would be likely to have a better stopping power than throwing some knife. I think so too. Somebody says she's working out a strategy. Yeah, I think she's trying to use what has worked for her in the past, and it's not working.
So he gets...
So no, not right then. I couldn't tell you exactly what you said right then.
Okay. So...
But I swear to God, I was scared. I mean, after like what I was scared, and I was on the phone with my mom, and it was still happening.
Yeah.
So she's swearing to God again, saying she was scared, and she said something about her mom, and I just wanted to take it back and listen.
I mean, after like what I was scared, and I was on the phone with my mom, and it was still happening.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Did you hear that? What did she say about her mom? Sorry, guys, I can't hear this. If somebody can hear it, let me know what. I think this is important. What she's saying about her mom. Did she say she told her mom? So she's still on the phone? I'm not sure. Courtney, yes, according to her story, she was on the phone while she was throwing the knife. Correct. And on the phone when he started charging at her, still on the phone when she had to reach around and grab the knife that her mother bought for Christmas, just because she needed that extra detail. Yes. Courtney's saying this is convoluted. Well, I think because it's malarkey.
I was scared, and I was on the phone with my mom, and it was still happening.
Yeah.
I was
She said, I was on the phone with my mom and it was still happening. Is that it? Yes. Okay.
scared.
So you told me that he had you against the wall at one point, right? With his hands over your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you end up from the wall to the ground?
So she did two things. One was I was scared and she turned away from him and she's shifting position. What she's doing is dog owners will understand. If your dog's mad at you, they turn their head. And this is like a more extreme version of an eye block. Like, I am done telling you. I told you, and I'm done. Right? She might as well have said, talk to the hand. That's almost what that was. And you notice she was so scared. Yet, in an instant, she is composed. Like she has to deal with this guy again. She is not in her memory at all. If she was in her memory after such a traumatic event, if she was in her memory, you would see shaking, you might see dry mouth, you would see more tears, you would see more of this, and it would be hard to come out of that. When somebody feels real emotion, it takes a minute because there's all kinds of chemicals going around your body. It takes a minute to settle down. It's not like a flick of a switch like what she's doing.
Let me go. Let me go. And then I started swinging on him because I had been against the wall.
Okay.
So now she's saying, now the story is let me go. And so I started swinging because I've been hit so often. What? I thought you threw the knife across the room. Did I miss something here?
I started trying to hit him.
Yeah.
And then he put me on the ground.
He dropped you to the ground. What did he do? Did he lift you up, or did he grab your hair? Did he just kind of rotate you onto the ground?
I really couldn't even tell you.
He pushed you.
If I could have been given all these questions, before, I could be like, maybe let me think about it. Or when I'm trying to remember a whole situation of where I was very upset about something, which I've learned this in therapy and whatever. It's write down all the details so you don't forget. Just write it all out clearly so that it makes sense to you and makes sense to somebody else.
Wow. She's basically asking for an open book test because she didn't study. So, hey, Mr. Police Officers, please give me all your questions in advance. Give me time to think, and I'll sit and figure it all out and write it all down in a coherent narrative so it makes sense. I mean, gosh, don't actually ask me questions that I should be able to remember. Wow. Nala is saying, this is hard to understand. I try to describe a thing that happened to me when I was 12, and it brings tears to this day. Yeah. Now, some people will talk about trauma with very flat affect, and that does not mean they're lying, okay? But she's not a flat affect person. You would expect, see, she does this drama and tears and all that, and then flicks it on and off. So this is not, oh, I have flat affect because I'm traumatized. This is something else.
but I haven't had a chance to have a pen and paper or my phone to like write down exactly what happened, and I haven't really even like fully thought about it. So honestly, my answer is I don't remember.
That's fine. So he has you on the ground. You end up on the ground, and he has his hands over your neck. Correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then.
Guys, just a reminder for people who came in late, we're asking for no spoilers. We're just trying to look at this situation. We're going to go through in the order that the police discovered things and are trying not to be influenced by other information that was discovered later or media reports and so on. There are a lot of people in the chat who've never heard of this case.
Is he saying something to you at the time when he's on the ground on top of you? Or?
He was saying something like gritting his teeth. I don't remember what it was.
Like what?
He was saying something like gritting his teeth, like with the white of his eye,
okay.
but I don't remember what it was.
Okay. And then he at one point he stops, right? Sorry. And what, you get up, you go to the bedroom, or what do you do?
I get my phone from the kitchen. I got my phone from the kitchen. I called my mom. I was talking to her, and then he was following me around the apartment and acting like just like after we shouldn't be together.
You guys have a history of domestic violence?
So she's on the phone with her mom. And now he's following her around the apartment. Well, wait a minute. She just said he was in the living room and she was in the kitchen. So this is another inconsistency. And she's saying, she's telling him that they shouldn't be together. Well, are you saying this while you're on the phone with your mom? So she's just throwing out whatever.
Yeah.
You say you've been together how long, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Year and a half to 2 years.
So how many incidents you think you've had?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be together.
Will you say one or two, or just too many to?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I haven't touched my ankle. It's like what?
We're gonna
Like I just want to take a shower, God. Okay. No. We can.
I'll give you a text.
I'm not trying to interrupt the.
No. You keep on.
This is absolutely the most insane shit that I think I've ever been involved in.
I think anybody that goes through this
without
would be
a doubt.
just insane.
So notice the sergeant leaves the room and she turns to the other guy as if she's confiding in a friend. So she thinks that first detective, the one on the left side of the screen, she thinks she's got him in her hand. And the one to get is the other guy, the sergeant. Very interesting. Jen is saying, I think that was genuine shock at the blood. Yes. Yeah, we see that. It's common.
What'd you say?
I think that if anybody goes through this type of situation, it would be pretty insane for them.
Okay. You said
have
domestic violence.
you made a report before?
No.
You've never made a report?
Oh, I did in Dallas actually about a year ago, and he was detained.
And what happened there?
He had pushed me in the lobby, but it wasn't like a big deal, and they made it a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a previous incident for which he was detained. I have no idea. I haven't looked to see if he was convicted of anything, and we don't know the circumstances. Now, we have all seen in recent days a man getting arrested for DV when he was not the primary aggressor. I'm not saying in this case that it's the same. I'm not saying it's different, right? Interesting to me here is that they're asking this question. Before you go in and question somebody, normally you run them. You run the parties involved. So you would already know if there were any previous calls for service, even if those calls didn't result in an arrest. So it's in the system that this person called about XYZ. So they should probably already know that. They may be asking her to see what she says. Art fan, she did call for help. She called 911. She was the one who called 911. And she has expressed quite a lot of concern for his life. So, yeah, she did. So.
And he ended up getting taken to the hospital or jail or something.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it was necessary, but yeah, he had been. And then also I had been arrested for as well in Vegas in August. So he and I each had one.
Okay. What happened?
So she's saying, I didn't think it was a big deal. DV victims often say that. Oh, no, it'll be okay. They minimize. I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just pointing that out. But now it comes out that, oh, yeah, she was arrested too. So there's a history.
I'm in Vegas.
We just got in an argument in the hotel room. And what I guess made them arrest me was that I said I had thrown a glass at him.
Oh, okay.
Like a glass of, like a drink.
Okay. Like you splashed.
Which I think until that point it was like fine.
She is, well, I guess this is what made them arrest me. As opposed to, yeah, I messed up. I shouldn't have done this, right? It's subtle, but that deflection of responsibility is still there. And the other thing she does is, as she's describing this incident for which she was arrested, she's shrugging her shoulders like, it's no big deal. I perpetrated this act of violence, but like, what's the big deal? So we're seeing that attitude, and that is a concern.
I guess, like I didn't, whatever, but they asked like, yo, did you throw something at him? Because I guess they went upstairs and they said, you throw them at him? And I said, yes, I did. Because what's the point? Why? I guess it's whatever. So, yeah. They went up and they said, I guess they asked me about it, and I said yes. And they said, okay, that's DV or battery or something, not assault or something like that. And so I got arrested and I was held for 12 hours.
Up here, that's called assault with a weapon, technically, to wit a glass, right? One of the most dangerous cases I ever had was a DV case where the charge was that he threw something at her, and it wasn't even as serious as a glass. And everybody laughed about the charge. Oh, come on, you're going to charge him with that? You're going to make charges on this? Nothing. And as it unfolded, it turned out to be one of the most dangerous cases ever.
That wasn't fun. But yeah, those are the two.
Okay.
Incidences for, I don't know what the incident for him was like.
About how many incidents have you guys had here in Miami since January? Like how many times has the police?
I think so. Not everybody has all day. And I think this has gone on a long time. I am just going to check down here. I am thinking we should probably end this here because we've been talking a long time. Venus is saying, I can't understand people who think getting arrested for anything isn't a big deal. Yeah. Okay. So, Shanna, I was a threat assessment specialist in the end. I mean, I spent my whole career in criminal justice, so that wasn't my only ever job. Thank you, Mace. Captain Katie says, another one with no self-awareness. Buckle up. So do we want to continue this? Do we want to continue this series? I didn't get a lot of viewers in here today, so. Okay, Courtney's saying, can't wait to watch with you and see where this goes. Not going to do any research, just like a juror. Awesome. Well, Courtney, I might just open the chat and keep going just if it's you and me. So everybody's saying yes, keep going. Okay, so I can't do anything tomorrow. I think Thursday I can. So I'll come back Thursday and hopefully probably around the same time, if that works for people. And it was very interesting to get your input as we went along. So this is to me, it's interesting because some of you made some good points. Some of you shared information I wouldn't have had independently, such as Courtney's experience with weapons and somebody else talking about sharing geolocation and how that is not unusual for younger people. I would not have known that. So it is all informative. Phoenix is asking, what is the status of this case? She is currently in custody awaiting trial. Okay, guys. I will see you on Thursday. Thank you for joining me. Trust your gut.